I think when you have confidence in yourself,
Yeah.
there are a lot of barriers that people face.
Okay, yes.
You just step over them. I never thought about, okay, I'm not experienced in journalism.
Oh.
I had this passion of, I want to expose artists in my area.
Yeah, it's your boy Bruno Kwali. Yeah, we're right here, you know, man. This is another day, a brand new day. 5 a.m. This is another reminder to you that make sure at 5 a.m. every Wednesday, you on your screen, anywhere. Because you know, 5 a.m. is the hustlers hour. The time when your hustlers, they sleep, start, they wake up. So we paused last year due to this and that. So now we're back with a bang, we're back again. And even now, man, we have another second location to shoot our precious content right here for hustlers, for entrepreneurs, for whoever, man, who is pushing this life, no matter what. So make sure that you put this on your dial and you make sure you subscribe to Bridge TV on YouTube. And you know the show, Hustlers Chariot. Kariki Hustlara, Hustlers Happy Tori, or
Yeah.
So, you know, man, this is I want to say it's my debut episode, but it's the first episode for this year, for 2023, and I'm starting with some awesome, inspiring guy here, man. I don't want to spoil any fun, and I don't want to lie, so I want him to introduce himself. But some of you know him by a lot of things, man. Bornstar Cinema, Bornstar Magazine, been pushing that. Man, he's a mentor as well, and he's also a motivational speaker, he's everything. So I want him to introduce himself. Alright?
Hi everyone, first of all, thank you for this opportunity. My name is Refentse Mhlolo, and well, I can't introduce myself like you did, man. Hustler, motivational speaker. I'm Nelson, and I am someone that's just pushing life and just trying to push his limit to the next level. So whichever comes my way, I'm up for it. But thank you for that introduction.
Yeah. Welcome, my guy. So, my man, we're right here. We're in Hammarskraal.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm born here. So I want to know, where are you born?
I was actually born, the hospital that I was born, it was in Atteridgeville, for Kalafung, that's the name of it. But then I come from Mamelodi East, SNS.
Oh, okay.
That's why, that's why I grew up, go Mamelodi. Yeah.
Wow, and then you grew up in Mamelodi?
Yes,
so your schools, you went there in Mamelodi?
Mamelodi, I attended my primary there. Now then I studied sub, so I finished like a sub B. My parents moved a lot. From Mamelodi they moved to Soshanguve. We stayed in Kodi Gigi.
Okay.
Then I think we stayed about 3 years or 4 years. Then we moved to Harangua, Zone 7, Kodi Butu. Then after that we moved to Hammarskraal. So I've been traveling a lot. So I'll say Pitori is my home. I've been almost every Kasia.
You've been there?
Yeah.
So when now we're talking about being somewhat, not really greatly standard. So somehow we're only 70 something, 80 something.
I'm actually, I was born in 1987, so I'm quite old. You can see I have grey hair. Is there some grey hair on my hair? Yeah. So I'm older. So I'm close to getting to 40 years old, but then I have this awesome genes that you might think I'm some 20-something kid. But I've been around for quite some time.
I thought you were my age.
No, I am actually your big brother. Just that I don't impose myself as this know-it-all big brother thing. So I just treat people with respect. If you treat me with respect, then I treat you with the same respect. So you won't actually guess my age.
Yeah. You're talking about Pharrell Williams.
Yeah, but Pharrell is like an ancient guy. Pharrell is awesome genes. Yeah.
So anyways, my brother, I want to know,
yeah, man.
After your high school,
I'm done, yeah.
Oh, okay. After your matric, what happened then?
After matric, a lot happened. I wanted to go to varsity to study electronic engineering.
Okay.
But then, due to finances, so I went to a college in Attridgeville.
Okay.
Yeah, I did N3 and I did N4 in electronic engineering. Then after that, one of my lectures, I was this learner that I used to challenge my lectures a lot. To a point where one lecturer pulled me one time and said, you know what, you don't actually belong at a college, you're supposed to be at varsity.
Okay.
Because he would usually, like when you solve a problem, it's like math. Math has many solutions to solve a problem. So he wanted us like to solve his way. So I told him, you know what, your way is like a long drive. So I prefer my way, it's much shorter and you get to the same result quicker.
Oh, okay.
And I remember one time he actually marked my paper wrong because I used a different method. But I told him, but you cannot use like this long method, it's actually outdated.
Exactly.
But he was actually impressed with the fact that I stood my ground.
Oh, your reasoning.
Yeah.
Your reasoning.
I stood my ground, like I was confident in what I was saying and what I was doing because I was passionate about engineering.
Yeah.
Then I was actually shocked when he said that you actually deserve to go to university because college is limiting your potential.
Is it?
So from then I went to TUT. I attended at main campus, still the same course. Yeah, we started there in 2008.
Sure.
I actually finished my matric in 2006. So in 2008 I started at TUT.
Okay,
It went along fine, but when you study TUT, there's a foundation phase, especially when you come from underprivileged school. So they put us through a foundation phase for 6 months. Then you're gonna start your course in electronic engineering the following year, so like the following semester. So I spent about 1 year in TUT, like 2009.
Okay.
Then I passed my S1, semester 1, beautifully. Then when it came to S2, they withheld my result because I needed to pay like the whole year's fees, which I didn't have money for. I think it was 20-something thousand. So I didn't have money, and at that time, my mom has just left her job, or her job just closed down. She was in some insurance company called Comet. So they just closed down. So she was unemployed, and NEPSAS needed a parent or someone close to you that had a pay slip in order to apply for NEPSAS back then. So I couldn't apply for NEPSAS in order to further my studies. So I ended up dropping out of college. I never finished electronic engineering, So that was like one of the lowest point in my life.
How did you feel?
Actually that's where the brand, or let's say the name Bornstar came about. Because from 2010 it was the darkest moment in my life because I had dedicated my life into my studies. I gave my all, so that's why I come from underprivileged background. But when I was at varsity, you meet kids that are rich, my guy. Kids that come with an A3, Beamers, Benz to class, and you only come with train. And when it comes to, buying school materials, you don't even have a laptop. I had to borrow some second-hand laptop, which was, it gave me so many problems. I had to borrow. I never got a laptop or a PC. So that's when I was actually introduced to using a PC, because growing up, we never even had a PC at home.
It was luxury, using a PC.
It was luxury, my guy. It was luxury. So I was exposed to so many things, but one thing that I had was confidence. But that's one thing which I never had when I was in high school. And I would say one teacher that helped me with self-confidence, it was my math teacher. Whenever he came to class, I would say my whole world revolved around math. So if I got one thing wrong in class, it would dictate how I would feel about the rest of the day. Because he made us be so passionate about math. So to a point, but what I liked about him is that he challenged us to challenge life. He didn't like someone that sat in class and was meek. You didn't raise your hand, because I was suffering with a lot of self-acceptance and confidence. So since he challenged that in that way, I became more confident in my ability, in everything that I did. So when I was at varsity, I had that. Even when I was at college, I had that self-confidence. You know what? I can take on everything. So once I dropped out of varsity from 2010, beginning of 2010, it was the lowest time because I thought I had this vision like you're gonna finish school in like 3 years, get a good job, help out your mom, help out your family. Like as a big brother, cause I'm a firstborn to my mom, you have that responsibility. Like you are an example to each and every sibling that comes after you. So it was a very dark time in my life, but what I liked was the presence of God shows up in your lowest moment.
Yeah, true that.
And I said that's when God presented himself to me, because I was spiritual, but I never put God before anything I did. I was like, I'm going to study, then if I have time, maybe I'll go to church, maybe I'll pray.
It was not a must for you to go to church.
Nah. If maybe I didn't have a lot of work, then I'll go to church. So, but since I was at home, I had nothing to do, I didn't have a job, I couldn't finish my studies, then I was forced to get in touch with God in a very big way. And I was also introduced to entrepreneurship. A friend of mine gave me 2 books which also changed my life in terms of business. It was a book by Sir Richard Branson and it was a book by Steve Biko. I read what I like. With Sir Richard Branson, it was an autobiography on how he talks about losing his virginity in business, how he started his businesses, where he started from a kid and building business after business after business. Then I was really inspired by, especially when you come from a disadvantaged background, you always think that if you're a white guy, you're privileged with information, privileged with opportunities. But when you see how he started, it was more of persistence and perseverance. Even though he had support from his family, but support can only go so far because they need to see results. And when you're in business, results take years. They take years. So as I was studying him through his book, I saw like, okay, I don't need to feel down. There are people out there that started from nothing and built this empire. So that's where Bornstar came about, whereby it actually came in a dream. I would say it was a vision, like the name and the logo of it.
The logo of it.
How it was designed. It came as a vision, because I remember I was sleeping at night, and I saw it. I woke up, had a drink of water, went back to sleep, and I still saw it again. How this logo was supposed to be, what Bornstar represented, and how the slogan of it's supposed to be like, Bornstar, it's who you are.
So it just came in like in your dream then?
The name of it, but then since I was on that spiritual journey, I understood what it meant, whereby when you look at a star you see it bright, shining during the night.
During the night, true.
In my life, I was at a dark moment. But then to have that voice telling you that you are a star, and how do you know that you're a star? A star, you see it shine usually through nighttime and through showing its own glory. It doesn't need the sun to reflect its light. It comes from inside you. So whatever you're seeking in life, it's actually inside you. You just need to unlock that potential. So that's where the name Bornstar came about. So during 2010, after dropping out of school because I couldn't pay the fees, I couldn't get a job. I couldn't further my studies. So I was ultimately, I was broke at that time, but I was still staying in Garangua. My family had moved this side to Hammanskraal. So I was left with the house. I was staying with my cousin for Garangua back in 2010. So I tried getting some jobs, but it was difficult. It was difficult, and I was still trying to recover from dropping out of school, because I had given my whole life to it. So I had to reevaluate my life again, see, okay, from here, what's my next move? So from then on, after reading this life-changing books for me, Richard Branson and Steve Biko, with Steve Biko, it taught me a lot about black consciousness.
Okay.
As a black man, how so many things are aligned against you, especially living in South Africa.
Yeah.
Richard Branson taught me about entrepreneurship,
Okay.
being persistent, being driven, and no matter what, just go and get your goal. If you have a mark, like, especially in his book, he mentioned how there are some people who supported him, his family supported him, but to a certain point.
Yeah, yeah.
You see, so with me it was the same thing. So I needed to find a way to establish myself, and since I had this vision in my head of Bornstar, how can I manifest it into reality? So I needed a logo first of all. I knew what it looked like, but I had no graphic designing skills. So I needed someone in that space in order to design one for me.
But you had it in mind, like you just had it like...
In my mind, I could see it as clear as day.
Yeah, yeah.
Just that I can't draw. I could have drawn it a long time ago, but I could see like how each word, each name had to be, and what the emblem of it had to be like. So a cousin of mine from Mamelodi hooked me up with a graphic designer. His name is Tebo. This guy was dope. He's really good. So I remember we were on the street. He had just pulled up on his car. Then he said, you know what, this guy's a graphic designer. Just tell him what kind of logo you're looking for. Because I knew that I wanted a logo. And by the way, the reason why I wanted a logo, I wanted to follow the steps of Richard Branson. When he started with a school magazine.
The school magazine?
Yeah.
He started in school, or he was done with school, but he did a magazine for the school?
He was still in school.
Wow, okay.
So he established a magazine while still in school.
Yes.
Yeah. So I wanted in that space, but with mine was gonna be more of entertainment. I was gonna interview young and up and coming well, we didn't call them influencers back then because YouTube was still new, but artists, singers, especially local guys, because there were a lot of artists in my area in Karankua, and I knew also in Mamelodi they were doing big things. Yeah, they were doing like big things. So I wanted a magazine that exposes this talent. So first was to have a logo. So I met up with Tsepo, the graphic designer. I told him like the BORN, the single name Born, what it had to be like. It had to be bold.
So even the font, like
I knew what it had to be like, and the SCAR, the star one, had to be a bit italic, but then still a bit bold, but it had to be italic. Then you had to have a red square with a white star inside of it. Then underneath that star, the slogan of it was gonna be, "It's who you are." So after giving him what I wanted the design to be like, then he did it. 2 days, I went to his home. Wow, man, I was blown. You know when you see something in your vision, like, and then you see it in reality, I was blown away. I was like, dude, that's
like,
it.
It came exactly how
that's it. Like, exactly. Even till this day, I've never edited that logo.
I remember,
till this day.
Logo, if you add something new, the logo would be
the logo had to be there. I was so sad. It was like I had my first child, actually. I saw it as my first child. Without a mouth, like I saw it as a first child. I fell in love with it. It was like, okay, this is my identity. This is the new me. I felt reborn. Like that old Nelson who wanted to be an engineering student. It's like he died. He died. So I was a new person. So I went all out into starting my magazine. My mom helped me by buying a printer.
Oh, a printer, okay.
Yeah, so we were gonna print A5 paper. So like the magazine was gonna be A5. It was it was just gonna be small. Then I remember I set up an interview with this guy's name is Oba Gang. They had just performed on Jam. Do you still remember Jam Eli? It was a long time ago. So his group were the finalists on Jam Eli. So he lived in Soshanguve. So I set up a meeting. That's like my first interview. It was at short left.
But how did it feel? Like your first interview? Because like what I'm saying is, like it's not the background,
No.
like entertainment of interviewing people. And how was your first attempt, like in the
I think when you have confidence in yourself,
yeah,
there are a lot of barriers that people face.
okay, yes,
You just step over them. I never thought about, okay, I'm not experienced in journalism. I had this passion of, I want to expose artists in my area.
okay, yeah.
So I would say I had a purpose.
Yes, true.
Once you have a purpose, those lingering questions like, are you skilled enough for this? They are gone because you already have, okay, I already have a list of questions which I want to ask this guy.
You did your homework.
Yeah,
Yes.
so, but the main aim was to expose local talent so that everyone can see what local guys are doing. You see, because it was harder even to get into the entertainment industry. So I wanted to have a magazine that would say, okay, this is a local magazine from Harangu, or I would say Pretoria, that exposes local talent. So I never had that thing of, what if you can't do it? I never had that question lingering in my mind. Like, the purpose was so strong, I just went with it. It was a driving force for me to go and have that first interview.
Yes. Yeah.
And which never showed my inexperience. Because the guy thought I worked for like this huge magazine company. And I told him, no, that's actually my business. I'm starting it out. And I had to explain everything. Even the pictures, I didn't have a cameraman. It was just me, a paper and a pen. I had written all these questions. Then whatever I asked him, he would answer. Then I would just write it down and record on my phone some of the things which he was saying. Then on that article, if like a magazine, you just need pictures and words.
And words, yeah.
That,
Don't need a lot of
yeah,
words,
that you're gonna type.
Wow.
So it was, I would say, simple, but it was nice. I really enjoyed that journey. Yeah.
And like, but it didn't take a lot of your time, because for me, it's a lot of planning to do there. Man.
It did, man. It did. Because I would say what I learned from TUT.
Yeah.
How to give your all into one thing. Because I had given myself into this academic plan of mine of being the best student, even though I never advertised like I wanted to be the best student, but in my mind I wanted to pass each and every subject, each and every semester.
You had a drive to do
I had that drive. Like, I didn't even have time for friends, even till this day. You know, I don't roll with a crew. I'm usually alone, and in that space, being alone, it gives me enough time to be creative. It gives me enough time to even learn something which I never knew before, because I don't have influences from people or certain environments that I'm in. So I'm usually...
The responsibility of seeing someone like me with the mama.
I never had that. I never had that. So it gave me a lot of time to plan ahead what I wanted to do with this magazine, and plan ahead what I wanted to do with this new company that I had just formed in my mind. So I needed to manifest it into reality.
You started there in your mind.
So then after that first interview, it went well. My cousin, a cousin of mine, he wanted to be my partner, so I said fine. So we registered the company, Bornstar magazine.
Bornstar magazine is
Bornstar magazine is registered. So we registered it. Then we did a couple of more interviews. Like, I was in charge of interviewing people. So his responsibility, I told him, look, I have a printer. I'll use my money to travel and do these interviews. The only thing I'm going to need from you is just to buy paper so that we can print it out. Because I had bought a printer and some ink, colorful ink.
You're doing it from your own pocket?
From my own pocket. From my own pocket, I would say I was fortunate enough. Okay, I won't use the word fortunate. My mom stepped in and she saw a potential with this new venture. She helped me buy that printer, and it came with ink. So from then on, I'll say I just need a little bit of pocket money. Then I went ahead and did it, but it was not a lot. It was not a lot of money, and it took a long time just to get that first issue. But I managed to do a lot of research into it, because the magazine, what it was going to do, it was entertainment, which was music. It was going to showcase movies which were being released. But it also had a luxurious side whereby you showcase the most expensive phones in the world. Kind of like those fold lists. So it was also going to have that luxurious side of it. Yeah. So after that, so it was time to print. I had my articles written.
Ready now.
Everything is ready. I did my research. So I was just waiting on my cousin to, dude, when is the paper? I need money just to buy paper, those typing pages to print out the first issue. My cousin never came through. He had some obligations.
He was the one to pay up like for the paper for printing.
We just needed paper, typing paper, because I had used all the funds I had into traveling to do interviews. So I had nothing else. I just needed that paper. So he never came through. In my mind, I went back to that time when I dropped out of school, whereby you wanted to do something that then you were just met with another stumbling block. So the magazine never went ahead. I never printed that first issue. So I was back to that dark age again, whereby, okay, what's your next move from here? Because you need to eat now. You need to have a job. You need to be stable. You cannot have your mom supporting you now and again, you see. So from there, I said, you know what, let me just wait. I think I rushed a bit. I went to look for a job. So I went to a marketplace. I actually ran away from Bornstar. I said, you know what, let me just shelve it. Let me just shelve it. Let me go look for a job. And I went into retail. I worked at Game. Then after Game, I worked at Woolworths. I worked at Woolworths for like 3 years. Yeah.
3 years? 3 years are long, man.
3 years are long. Then after that, Woolworths, the bug came back. That I call it a bug because once it bites you, of being an entrepreneur, once it bites you, all that creative side, because I had enjoyed that space of being creative.
And that was, it was you there, like you were you.
It was me, because in this new world, I was being managed. I had less time to myself, less time to develop myself. You were like a robot, whereby, because I was working early shifts. Our shift started at 2 a.m. From 2
a.m.
2 a.m. So you had to be there early. The stock has been received. You have to pack the stock to the floor. Make sure when the store opens, everything is filled up. Then we would leave. We would knock off at 10. 10 or 9 in the morning. So
it's 2 a.m. till
10 a.m. You go home, you're tired, you don't even sleep that much. Then you have to catch up with everything that's been happening throughout the day. Then you're going to sleep early. Then at 10 or 11, they're going to come and pick you up because it was a staff transport. They're going to pick you up at 10 or 11 because they have to pick up everyone in the neighborhood just to make it up for that 2 a.m. shift. So you have to also sleep early. It was a very terrible life. But then I stuck with it because it also taught me about working with people, with customer service. That's the biggest thing I learned from Woolworths, and also taught me about customer value. Woolworths, they are big on their customers. They are big on their customers. They put their customers before everything. Like when you pack, let's say meat, or lettuce or fruits, anything that stays in the fridge, it must not be on the floor for more than 8 minutes.
8 minutes.
Once it's on the floor, meaning not in the fridge, for more than 8 minutes, they consider that waste. Then you're gonna push it back into the fridge. You're not gonna sell it to a customer. So they were big on their customer value. They wanted to make sure that each and everything they give to the customer, it had to be high quality. They love their customer more than anything. So I learned that from Woolworths. So when that bug came off, you know what, you need to be creative again. Because when you work at Woolworths, you meet a lot of, what can I say, high-flying people, like respectable people. You meet someone like your own peer, dressed up in their own casual clothes, but outside they parked a Lamborghini.
Imagine.
And working at Woolworths, that's the first time I was in a Lamborghini.
Ah.
These two guys came up. They were they actually wanted to do some grocery shopping at Woolworths, but we had not opened. So they went to a coffee shop similar to this, like Cliff Cafe. They were having coffee, and they had parked the Lamborghini outside. So I went there. I was like, guys, you know what? Sorry to disturb you guys, dude. I've never seen it close up. So I told the guys, like, there were two black dudes.
Oh yeah.
I would say they were like 30 years old. They were young. So I asked them, guys, sorry to disturb your morning, but I've never been inside a Lamborghini. Can I just see what, like, be inside it? The guy was kind enough to do this. Like, okay, fine, man. So he opened it up. He said, no, you can go in. So I went inside it. Yo, breathe.
It was like, yo.
It's like, okay, where am I now? I felt like I stepped into another universe. Seeing Lamborghini is a beautiful machine. It's a beautiful. I've never seen a car like that ever again. I would say it's like when you see a Ferrari first time. Being inside it, Lamborghini is like 10 times more.
It's work of art.
Dude,
yes.
It's like some transformer thing out of this world.
What do you feel motivated and inspired by just being there?
It made me question myself, like, okay, so what are you doing with your life? Do you think you're going to get to that level while working here? But then what you have to learn about being an entrepreneur, I would say, is you must be realistic. You cannot say you're going to be an entrepreneur and buy a Lamborghini quick.
Oh, yes.
So you have to be realistic. But then that bug of being creative, it wanted to come out again. So I started having this migraines whenever I was at work. Whenever I'm at work and I'm supposed to work, then it would hurt me it would last for like 15 to 30 minutes. Just have these headaches. But as soon as I leave that store, I'll be back to normal. So it came to a point where even my store manager saw that, you know what, Nelson, you're not performing like you used to, because you know I'm a very self-driven guy and I drive everyone around me, bro. You know how I am with everyone around. Like you must be top notch when you're working with me. So you must put your all. But then it came to a point where I was no longer inspired coming to work. I felt like I was dead.
Over again, but there are no any changes.
Dude, so I felt dead, and the last nail into that coffin, it was when I had applied for, because I was a supervisor back then, and they made me a supervisor in like 6 months because they were inspired or they were impressed with my work ethic.
Yeah, the way you were working.
Yeah, so I went from sales into supervisor in 6 months. But in that position, I stayed for like 1 year or 6 months or 2 years. Like I spent a long time. And during that time, I was training to be a manager. So I was working my position as a supervisor, but I had taken more responsibility in management side. So usually whenever a manager comes in, he would give me his daily tasks. So I'd have to juggle my task of a supervisor and also another task of a manager. So I really thought I was going to be a manager by 2016. So I put out my applications, but it never came about. They said, we lost your applications. And that hurt me more because I don't mind failure whereby you have given me an opportunity to fail. But this time I was never given an opportunity to showcase my ability. So I felt like the store I was working in, they were holding me back so that they can retain me because they don't want to lose that talent, because I was on top of everything. At that time when I was a supervisor, I had worked all the shifts. Because there were 3 shifts. There's a night shift, there's an early morning shift, which was the one I was telling you about, coming in at dawn, and then there was a day shift.
The normal one.
So yeah, there were 3 shifts. So I had worked all the shifts, I had mastered everything there. So I felt betrayed by them, whereby they never gave me that opportunity to evolve, to take that next level. So I was like, you know what, guys, I think we have reached our conclusion on this path. So I left. Now the next plan was to put out Bornstar wear. So I was gonna step into the designing part, whereby I wanted to make a clothing line.
Clothing line. So it was a magazine. Then
the magazine, I had shelved it.
You shelved it.
Yeah. So I wanted to make a clothing line.
Okay. Yeah.
So with the clothing line, I had this designer, Ridwan. Ridwan is an artist, I would say.
Ridwan.
Yeah, Ridwan. He's an Indian.
Oh,
Who's this guy, Ridwan?
I heard it.
No, he's an Indian.
Oh, he's an Indian guy.
Yeah, so he put out this sketch. He made some beautiful sketches for us. It was gonna be a luxury spot where, that's how he put it. It was gonna be a luxury spot where I had the money.
Yes.
I had the money
But you
to
saved it
finance it.
From your retail job. You
Yeah.
saved it from there.
When I left retail, there's a certain package they give you. So
Yes.
I had some package to start that kind of business.
Okay, yeah, free, yes.
So when it was time to, because after he put out the sketches and now it was time to go to manufacturing. Yo, the cost went over my head because he gave me this code. Okay, these are the places. He directed me straight to manufacturing companies. Yeah, like we can get your designs here. They can create them the way we had designed them. Because he's just an artist, whereby he drew the sketch, kind of like House of Zweden. Yeah, they gave you a sketch how your dress is gonna be like. So they gave me that sketch. He gave me that sketch, so I paid him. So when it was time to go to manufacturing, the cost was too high for me. So I said, you know what, let's wait a bit, because I also had some debts I needed to just to settle. Since then I didn't have employment. I didn't want to have a huge debt on my side. So I managed to close about 70 to 80% debt I had. So which I had started when I was working at Woolworths. So after that, I was staying in Mamelodi when I was working in Woolworths. Then I came back to Hammanskraal. But before Hammanskraal, I wanted to also start a record label.
Serious?
This is why I actually first met you.
Yeah.
Remember when we first met, we were doing a video for Ndate Because.
It was, because, I remember.
Yeah.
He was working in somewhere there in Pretoria.
Yeah, so me and him came to agreement. He had some songs, we were gonna record them and master them in Hatfield. And our plan was, so the plan was I was gonna release a clothing line and also have a record label where an artist of mine will be rocking my clothes. That was the initial plan. And we also had to record him, like each and everything he was doing. It had to be recorded. So he pulled you. That's when he first introduced me to you, because I was coming from Mamelodi. Then we met at KFC. You remember? Then we went to Hatfield.
But the first time we met, I think we met. It was Hanit's birthday or something. I think it was the first time.
No, that was later.
It was later.
Later. Back then you already know me, because I was living in Mamelodi. The first time we met, we were recording him.
Oh, that was the first time.
That was the first time. It's just that we were not so close.
Yeah, we're not close.
Yeah, because we recorded him as it was recording the song in the studio so that it can be mastered in Hatfield. So we needed those video clips. So with him, he was gonna be like my Java. That's how much I had envisioned him, because he's such a talented guy. And I also wanted him to start as a resident artist, whereby we establish him in certain clubs around Hammanskraal, whereby people know him. And because the main thing which I wanted was for him to have a stable income from those clubs as a residential artist.
As a residential artist, yes.
So as I had set up all those places for him, he got a call from one of his band. They were doing some project. So it clashed with how I wanted to manage him. So through that disagreement, you know what, we decided to just part ways. So that project also came to a halt. So as you can see, I'm a businessman without a business, with a multitude of businesses which had failed to even launch.
Are you saying they failed, or maybe they paused, or?
I call it failed because I won't say pause, because when you say pause, you can also press play. I have no desire to go back to them again at the moment. So I just paused them. I just put them on the shelf. You know what? It was a great lesson for us.
But when you put in a lot in them as well.
Everything I do, I put in a lot. It also hurt me, but then I never took it personal. That's one thing I learned in business. Don't take everything personal. Whereby I never hated him. I mean, we still brothers, me and him.
Yeah.
Then from there on, it was a new age at that time, whereby things were going digital. That's when I said, you know what, okay, let me go back to Bornstar magazine, but not as a printed magazine.
Yes.
This time it was going to be a video.
Video, yeah.
That's when I started doing research on it. Then we met up with those guys at Tembisa.
Yeah, Tembisa.
We went to do that interview at Tembisa there. I had you and Ntate because as my cameraman. And still at the time, I never had like journalism experience. But then it was also again with purpose. When you have purpose, you know what, you can break down any barrier. So with purpose, we went to Tembisa, we did that beautiful interview, we were exposed to the amazing sound. Those guys are multi-talented, I would say.
Everything was motivating.
Yeah, and I also took another turn whereby I never wanted to focus on entertainment.
Okay.
That's when we started doing a project with Ditsong. It was they house agricultural stuff, historical stuff, all those museums. So we wanted to, that's when I also pulled you along, said, Brie, I have another project for you. So we're going to interview all these museum places of Ditsong so that we can expose them to people, expose a side of Pretoria that not too many people are familiar with.
Yes.
We did those projects, and I remember there was this free internet stuff from Tshwane TV.
Oh, I remember, when
we wanted to upload, So I spoken to them like, okay, I'm gonna upload some of my work there.
Yes.
So I never uploaded it because I thought when you upload work there, from my perspective, when I spoke to them, I thought like you're gonna earn from advertisements.
Yes.
So whereby when people view your video, there are advertisements. So I thought we were gonna earn from those videos. And they said, no, actually it's for free. People are gonna view your videos for free. I was like, nah, man, I can't do that. I can't. We needed money. Even though exposure is fine, but we need an income. So that's when I also decided to shelve that project also. I said, you know what, no, we can't, because we had spent a lot of money traveling. So we cannot just give it up there for free for people, because they were actually earning from advertisement. That's what I knew, like for certain. I thought they were sharing with people that were uploading their videos.
Okay, like how the TV does, like advertise, you pay certain things. Pay,
so they were actually earning from videos that people took with their hard-earned money and their time. So I was like,
because it was more it was municipality things.
Yeah. In Tshwane, there's free Wi-Fi everywhere. Yeah. I remember it was also a dark moment. I remember that lady was also uplifting me.
Oh, by the bus stop.
Yeah.
Yes,
And I'm still in contact with her. She's on Facebook.
Is it?
Yeah.
Bruh.
She motivated us, but then we also decided to shelve that project. You know, at Bornstar magazine, we're just gonna shelve it. So it was also another initiative where I also shelved it. So I had more failures in my life. At this point,
the problem with the word failures. No, the problem with that word.
You know why I use failure? I'm not a failure.
Okay.
The project are the ones which failed because they never materialized into a point where they generated income for me.
I think the challenge was money. They didn't generate money. So
I needed money in everything I did. Yeah. Because we had to have a streamline of income coming in. Without income, a business is gonna die. You cannot carry on doing interviews for free and you hope that money is gonna come in.
Travel to those interviews.
So once also I saw that income was not gonna come in, you know what, I'm just gonna shelve it. Because I also had used my own money into doing all those projects, traveling all those ways. So I also shelved it, posted. I also went to reassessing myself. Okay, what's the next business from here?
What's the next move? What's up?
So I gave myself time. I never pressurized myself to come up with a business so great.
Okay, before you continue.
Yeah.
Like that point, for instance.
Yeah.
What do you tell yourself when you think like everything you're doing like is failing? like nothing is moving. Because
Yeah.
some of us we get too depressed.
Yeah.
So a lot of artists, a lot of photographers, filmmakers, when things don't work out, they start posting stuff. Some they want to commit suicide. Some they even attempt to commit suicide.
Yeah.
So how are you like? Are you surviving from there?
Man, it went back to my name.
Eish.
Not my name, Nelson.
You're a Bornstar.
Bornstar.
Eish.
It went back to that because
Eish.
I had that foundation of who Bornstar is.
Eish.
First of all, Bornstar, it wasn't a name. I'd say I was just thinking like, what's gonna be my brand? What's gonna be my company?
Yeah.
Because it was my
Eish,
identity,
yes,
Bornstar. It was like my other name. It was my name given to me by God. That's how I saw
It
it.
was more spiritual than.
It was more spiritual than anything else. It went back to my name is Bornstar.
Eish.
So I'm at this dark space again. I have to find a way to shine again. And in everything that I did, I would say I never tried to mimic what another person is doing.
Yeah.
Most of the time I spent alone. It gave me time to be creative and it gave me time to be unique in each and every step that I did, you
Yeah.
see. And I never pushed too much pressure on myself whereby, man, someone is doing it big. I must come up with an idea first. So it gave me time to reassess myself. So having that spiritual foundation is important in everything that you're gonna do, not just as an entrepreneur, everything you're gonna do. Whether you want to be a hustler, whether you want to be, whether you want to be a doctor, whatever career you wanna do,
Yeah.
having that spiritual foundation, especially with God, it's important. Without it, then you're just gonna fail. Because one thing that I was not doing, I was not imitating. So even when those projects failed, I never failed. It was a unique idea, but then it taught me lessons, but the timing was not right for it. And you find that you were just supposed to get lessons from it. Not each and every idea, it was supposed to be big and have this huge income.
Yeah.
You were just supposed to learn something from it. And also from that book I told you about, from Richard Branson,
Yeah.
he had many businesses and he had failures in those businesses. And I also learned how from each and every business he had, he took lessons from it. When it failed, he took lessons from it. Instead of seeing himself as a failure, those businesses failed, but I learned something from it. And those lessons, propelled him to do even bigger stuff when he went ahead and tried this new businesses.
Oh, it's like taking the meat and throwing the bones.
The bones.
Don't care about the negative,
Man,
just
that's
take
profound.
the positive.
That's it right there.
Wow,
That's it right there.
nice.
So he just took the meat, threw away the bones.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's what you did.
That's what I did. It went back to my name, who I am, and what my purpose was.
But it's everything, like
Yeah.
when you say like Bornstar is who you are.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it's more prophetic than just a brand or
Yeah.
a name.
Yeah.
Because of like whenever you're down, you just think of the name.
Who am I?
Bornstar.
Yeah.
Yeah, who am I? Yeah. And obviously I'm a
I
star.
strive in the dark. So when I'm in the dark, I'm actually in my element.
Hey.
So when you give me the dark, you give me a shine, like a chance to be a brighter star even.
Bruh.
Yeah.
Damn it. Like, only those words. I mean, this is profound.
Yeah.
So, my brother, this is big. Because this is
Yeah.
bigger than how I just thought it
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
Then, I think, the name, it's more of an engine to you. Because of,
Yeah.
since I met you and since I saw you, you never seem tired, you never seem defeated. Whether things are working out or
Yeah,
not, you
yeah.
are always pushing no matter
On top
what.
of everything.
Yeah.
Because of that name, I had that foundation.
Yeah.
And it's one of the reasons that made me even work harder. And the failures that I had, because I had so many projects which had failed,
Okay.
it made me work even more harder. That's why when I had an opportunity, I grabbed it with both hands and I ran with it. And on this journey, this is where the idea of starting a cinema came.
Okay. Bornstar.
This is where Bornstar Cinema came about.
Yeah.
So as I was trying to reevaluate myself and come up with a new way for Bornstar,
Yeah.
so I saw that we didn't have a lot of cinemas actually.
So,
So-
that idea just came to you, like, alright, You didn't have like a cinema or like what happened? What
Like
did
I
you
said,
show? What?
I'm a spiritual person. Everything I do, it was an order. I won't say I came up with it.
Goes like
Yeah,
this.
it was like God or an angel talking to me like, okay, why don't we have a cinema in Hammanskraal? Cinema? I've never seen a cinema in Hammanskraal.
Yeah.
Okay, I started researching about a cinema. Okay, what's the best place to start a cinema?
Yeah.
Okay, the first place was Jubilee Mall.
Oh, okay.
It had- It had everyone. So I first started contacting like Jubilee Mall, like, can I start a cinema here? They met with me. They were not convinced because when they said, okay, who are you? You don't seem like you have everything together. Like you're just a guy with an idea. Yeah, yeah. You're just a simple guy. Okay, so they just brushed me aside. Okay, it's fine.
Yeah.
That's when I contacted Carousel.
Yeah.
Carousel, there was a manager that it was a white lady.
Okay.
I sent an email. First, I did research, like, who can I pitch an idea to in Carousel? Okay, they gave me.
Asked first.
I asked first, like, yeah.
Nice.
Then they gave me her contact details. Like, actually, it was an email address, not contact. So I sent an email. After a week, she replied to me.
Okay.
No, we don't want that idea. We're fine with it.
No. Just like that.
Just like that. She's like, oh man.
Didn't even give you a chance to come.
No, nothing.
Uh.
But then, I think I had an angel in there. You know when you do things that are ordered by God? Because, believe it or not, Mangi was working there. You know Mangi?
Yeah, Mangi, I know Mangi, yeah.
Mangi was working there. She was still an assistant to that manager. So, but at the time, I didn't know her.
You didn't know her?
Mangi, no, I had not met her. That's why I said.
First, you met her first, then I met her.
Yeah,
You met.
yeah. But it was
okay.
before then, when I was contacting the marketing manager of Carousel.
Yeah.
So she said no, but Mangi had that idea, like, okay, this guy wanted to open a cinema, but he was just turned down. So when that manager left and a new manager was put in, she presented that idea to her, the new marketing manager. She said, you know, there's an email that came, there's this guy that wanted to open a cinema in Carousel. She saw it, she was impressed with it. She contacted me, okay, she said, can you set up a meeting? How about you tell me what exactly you want to do?
Yeah.
So I went there, I saw her, we had this beautiful meeting, and I briefly explained to her what I wanted to do. She said, okay, fine. Can you send me in detail so that I can take it to my bosses? Okay?
Oh, imagine.
So after that, I spent, almost a month writing that proposal. Because I did point to point. And with Bornstar Cinema, I didn't want it to be just a cinema only.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I wanted to target high schools, because I remember when I was in high school and there were these guys that came and showed us like the bioscope, China, and I remember,
China,
exactly. I remember how excited I was just to see movies at school. So we also wanted to target high schools. I also wanted to target preschools to come and watch movies. So that's the purpose. It was to encompass everyone in Hammanskraal with the cinema, because there was no cinema around here. So after that, she was impressed with it. I sent that proposal. She was impressed with it. She made me meet with like the big heads of Carousel now. I remember I took you guys to that meeting. That meeting was very intimidating, because I didn't expect them to tell me, okay, tell us point in point. Like they said, we read it, but we want to hear it from you.
We want to hear from you.
I was like, okay, fine. Okay, I was not, because I thought they would just read it and tell me what they thought about it. But because I had spent so much time going over that proposal, it was already in my DNA. I knew it by the back of my head. Everything. Word for word. So when I was done with that proposal, they were impressed with it. It's like, okay, fine. What we had in mind, because I didn't expect them to actually sponsor me.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to open. It's like when you go to some place, you see there's a spot, you want to open a business. You don't expect that place to come and say, okay, we're gonna support you doing this. So, and bear in mind, I was broke.
I remember you had nothing.
Nothing, but I wanted to start a cinema. So after they said yes, they even added saying that you're not gonna pay rent.
Imagine.
I was like, huh?
Like you had more.
They said, you're not gonna pay rent. They took me to the cinema. They showed me the cinema. I was blown away. I was like, how did I know that we had this? And apparently it had closed down in 1992. It was the last time.
Imagine.
The speakers were there and they were still in good order.
Yeah.
So I had to come up with projectors. I had to come up with so many things. But again, I had a purpose. And the purpose was not being this big entrepreneur guy.
Yeah.
The purpose was exposing people to movie going, like a movie theater, a cinema, whereby they can have that experience of going to the cinema and seeing a movie.
They can really walk to the cinema, not go to town to watch a cinema.
So that was my driving force for Bornstar Cinema. So I started pulling strings, pulling friends. Yo, I want to do this. I remember I went to one guy said, I need money. I need a donation. I'll even make you a partner. And he said, no, I don't want to be a partner. I don't understand anything about the cinema. I'll just give you this cash just so that you can go ahead.
You play your part.
Yeah. So everything like came together. I would say it was prophetic because I never had to do too many things in order for things to go my way.
Go your way, yeah.
I think the only money I spent from my own pocket was 100 rand to be exact.
Yeah.
Just to start a cinema, and that's crazy. And people won't be like, how can you start a cinema with, like, that's my own money. And the rest, it was just everything coming together.
Because it was expensive too.
It's expensive to run a cinema. And bear in mind, I wanted to hire a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the reason why I wanted to hire a lot of people was because I had spent a great deal of time being unemployed. I knew what it was like. I knew the strain. I knew the strain of sitting at home, not applying yourself into anything. So I said, okay, I'm gonna have this business, and I want people to be employed, and they're gonna just change shifts.
Yeah.
And it was, I think we started in October, so I wanted to hire them for December.
Oh yes, I remember. Yeah.
So with the launch of Bornstar Cinema in October, it was massive. I didn't expect that turnout. It was such a huge turnout to a point where people came in huge numbers, and I ended up employing everyone that I had. Because I employed 60 people. I remember one person from Carousel said, what are you going to do with so many people, Nelson? Yeah, I was like, I'm going to make it work. Because again, the purpose, it was not about me.
Yeah.
It was about employing people, working with people so that they have that exposure to employment.
Yeah.
Because I made that clear to even the people I was hiring. I told them, okay, this is not about me making a lot of money. This is about us coming together to bring this vision to life. Because we need this. I need you as much as you need me. And since I had that opportunity, and I had so many projects which had failed in the past, I grabbed it with both hands. And I think it made me even be more demanding of everything. Like, if you were not to my level and I saw that you were like lacking, I was like, you know what, this is not gonna work. So it made me like be ahead of everything, 10 steps ahead of everything. And I was also living my dream. For the first time, I had a business which actually launched.
It was huge, like for a guy, like for a black guy.
Yeah.
Even. It was very, very huge step.
It was huge for me too. It was a big thing, but then I never let it get to my head. Because once you let so much power get to your head, you're gonna be relaxed. Like, man, I'm the man. I'm the man.
You didn't sleep. Like I remember last time.
Yeah.
I think there was a meeting. There was a meeting the second day.
Yeah.
Then a day before that, like you were busy.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what you were researching, you were reading, or you were doing what?
Yeah, I was. Since I had opened a business in Carousel, all the stakeholders, businesses in Carousel had to have a weekly meeting.
Oh yes, I remember you had that.
I was part of that, and that's why you sit with the big bosses now. in that boardroom. Yo, it was intimidating being around because everyone was older than me. Like, these are people that are old enough to be my dad, to be my mom.
And you're listening, like, for us, no, for us, whites are still the boss for us.
Yeah,
but you were listening to them like you were talking to me. I remember last time you were talking to them, and like they tell you this, and then you say, no, I don't need that, I need this.
Yeah.
And they just admitted, okay, let us give you this.
It went back to self-confidence and knowing what you want.
Yeah.
And also, remember I had that book by Steve Biko.
Yes.
I didn't allow anyone to dictate me on what I wanted to do.
Okay.
So I became very strict. Whether you're black or you're white, you're not going to come to me and tell me what your vision is and how I'm supposed to follow your vision.
Exactly.
So I was very, very strict on that. And I respected my ideas to a point where I won't even allow you to disrespect my ideas.
Yes,
even though you are supporting me, I'm broke, I come from disadvantaged background, but I honored my ideas and I respected my ideas so much so that when you came with something different, it's like, no,
that's not me.
No, yeah. I had these values when it came to my ideas because during that time when I was developing myself, I respected everything I was building because I knew how much time I spent researching. I slept very little time. I would wake up, I would sleep like 2 hours, 3 hours. Then I would be up on my PC, researching, writing things, learning so many things. Because running a cinema, it was new to me. I didn't have someone to go up to and say, can you be my mentor? Can you give me a blueprint on how you can study cinema?
It was all you.
It was all me. I had to research how another business did it, how another business did that, and how I had to incorporate it so that it can go along with how people in this area were. You needed certain movies to stay live. You needed certain movies at certain times. Yeah, so it made me respect everything about you.
And then you had a lot of departments.
Yeah.
The ladies there at a kiosk.
Yeah.
And then you have the guys there, like at the top.
Control room,
The control room.
Yeah.
And you have the guys for marketing.
Yeah.
And mind you, you were also talking to people out there.
Yeah,
like
also
you were managing everything.
Yeah, also I had people that were going to schools, high schools and primary schools. So I had so many departments, and also I wanted to open another cinema in Bela Bela. I was contacted by them, whereby there's a space there. So they wanted me to open another Bornstar cinema there, but it never materialized because that place was old. It needed a lot of money to rejuvenate, and the rent, and the rent of it was just too high. He wanted like 15,000 a month.
Imagine.
And I had to renovate the place. I was like, you know what, I don't have that kind of cash right now. So I'm going to pass and just focus on this. And everyone I was employing at that time, it's not that I didn't have the capabilities of doing it.
Okay.
It was more of bringing someone that didn't have experience in this field, giving them an opportunity to learn.
And a greatest opportunity.
Yeah, because you can do everything on your own. On my part, I can do everything on my own because I had done it on my own.
Oh, yes.
That's why I never had a clue. I did everything on my own. I knew everything about my business and what it was supposed to be like. So when someone was not doing it right, I can pick it up quickly because I knew what was supposed to be there and it's not happening. So I kept eye on everything that was going on in my business.
So no matter the pressure, you were always focused. Because I saw that, like when you come in, it was.
But I never saw it as pressure, though.
Is it?
I knew what was expected of me.
Wow.
Being in that position, that's why I said I never let power go to my head. That's why I never relaxed. Every day I knew what was supposed to happen at this time, at this day. You're supposed to have this, you're supposed to have that. So it was not pressure. I actually enjoyed everything about it.
It's like knowing that you're going into a jungle, so you won't be surprised if a snake bites you, if a lion is chasing you. Because you're prepared for that.
I'm prepared for everything.
Okay, in all you're saying, there's a lot of things that I picked it up. I think most of us were not aware of them, or maybe we were just neglecting. First of all, you mentioned researching. Like most of the things you were doing, like you researched before going into that. The second thing that I heard from you, it was reading.
Yeah.
Like a lot of us, man, we don't do it. Like, you wanna be an artist now. Tomorrow you wanna blow up. You wanna be on stage.
Yeah.
And you don't read. You don't research about like those stuff.
Yeah.
The second thing is like you are not intimidated. You're rather motivated and inspired, and you can take on everything.
Yeah.
I remember that day, bro. It was more of a boardroom.
Yeah.
All of the managers were there.
Yeah.
All of them were white.
Yeah.
I think black were
few guys.
They were there.
Yeah.
And there was this guy. He was a guy. I think he was I don't think he was a manager by that time or what.
They were all managers there.
They were all managers.
Yeah.
But there's this dude, like,
yeah.
he was the one everyone was talking to.
He was in security. They were intimidated by him, yeah.
Because when you stand up, because they ask you.
Yeah.
And from my side, right, no, I would hide. Like, naturally, so I know Peter.
Yeah.
And he stood up and he just said like exactly what you wanted and what you needed.
Yeah.
And by that time, bro, you got me so damn inspired. Because for me, bro, white still a boss. Like I said, I really busted about 4 and the white, it was like me and you.
Yeah.
So, man, Bornstar cinema.
Yeah.
You employed a lot of people.
Yeah.
And some of them had no experience.
Yeah.
But they got experience.
Everyone had no experience. I think the more experienced one were you guys.
Yeah.
Like the guys which were doing marketing, like they already done it before. But all of them, they had no clue because there was no cinema around for them. So they had no clue what they had to do. But then they knew about like servicing people, like when you sell ice cream or popcorns.
Yes.
Yeah, they had a little bit of experience in that. But in terms of cinema, it was new to everyone. It was also new to me. But on me, I had a lot of time researching it, so I knew what was expected of me. End of the business.
So, you were, what I saw is like you were that guy with powers.
Even though,
you were, you're sharing your powers like each and every one of us there.
Yeah.
Because of like whoever was in kiosk selling ice cream,
yeah.
like the on point.
Yeah.
Whoever was there cleaning, imagine whoever was there cleaning,
yeah.
they were doing that like so perfectly.
Yeah.
Like then I learned from there. Even though at times I felt like this guy but then, like we didn't really understand what was needed of us. We had the potential. Some of us we didn't see it, but you saw it. And you're pushing us to that limit.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, some of us we realized after when everything was done, that guy, he was teaching us something.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, bro, Bornstar cinema,
Yeah.
Bornstar cinema at the Carousel. Few months later, it was not there at all.
It was closed,
Closed down, COVID happened, but I wanted to know from you what really happened.
From then on, so Sun International was acquiring a lot of debt because they couldn't maintain Carousel. So, because Carousel is an old place.
Yes.
So every system they had there, especially with air conditioners, it was old. It was old systems. Like it happened like back in apartheid times. So they were still using that old system. So they had a lot of debt, which they couldn't keep up with it anymore. So that's when Sun International decided to close down that area and sell it. Because it was just too expensive to keep it running. Yeah. Because it had also lost people. Like it was not as hyped up as it was back then. Yeah. I think that's one of the reasons why they allowed me to work there for free, because they wanted more people coming in.
Yes.
You see? So when it closed in 2019, we had already built relationships with schools and creches. So Bornstar Cinema was still carrying on, going to schools, going to preschools, just showing kids movies there. Then came 2020, where everything was on lockdown, everything shut down. But at that time, while I was still in Carousel, or I would say during 2019, I was exposed to programming, learning about computer science. Then I started downloading videos, watching videos on YouTube.
You never stopped.
I never stopped growing or learning.
Yeah.
Because I'm always a student. That's why I say I never impose myself when I'm with people. I won't say I have powers. Even though you say I had all these powers.
We saw it. For us, we saw Hulk, we saw Thor in you.
Come on, we're exaggerating.
No, but that's for real.
Serious.
I remember when you come in, bro. Like when you come in, we felt you. Like it was a
But I was
master
only
class.
shocked when people would say, like, we were scared of you. Like, they were scared to even talk to me. I remember Theo used to tell me, people are scared to ask you things. They were scared.
Exactly.
But on my side, I'm like the friendliest guy you can ever speak to.
No, the thing is that, like, I don't know if, like, you're in tune, but once you step in, like, it was more business than just a nursing, a friend.
Yeah. Maybe that's why, because I never kept a lot of friends. Maybe that's why they thought I was not a friendly guy.
Oh, yes.
But I'm actually quite a friendly guy. You won't ever hear someone say Nelson is beefing with someone. Nelson,
no.
those things I don't associate with. So anyway, from then on, I started learning about programming.
Yes.
I gained that voice came.
Yeah.
That voice started telling me about cinema.
Yeah.
I remember I saw this movie called Ready Player One. It had all these VRs, headsets.
Oh, yes.
Remember that movie, VR headsets? So it told me, okay, this will be the next big thing in the world. You need to learn this. Like, you need to learn this. It was even before I saw it in the news, saw it in the internet. But then that voice came again. So I started researching about it.
Yes.
About VRs, about programming.
How do they work?
Yeah. Then from there I saw, like, wow. It was even before people started talking about the fourth industrial, like, revolution. Yeah. And once I saw the kind of impact it's going to have in the future, I went and learned. And when I learned, I need my own space. And since the cinema had closed down, it gave me enough time to learn about programming, learn about, like, being a programmer, developing websites, developing apps, developing even VR websites, something which is still not being done. So I also wanted to implement that into Bornstar Cinema, whereby you have a headset and you just watch a movie from a VR headset. But with that idea, there were limitations of the headsets were expensive. It cost a lot, yeah. So you cannot buy a 5,000 headset just to watch a movie. It was just crazy. So I just went and learned on how to be a programmer. So during that time, and also lockdown came up, it also gave me enough time to learn to how to be a programmer, and a new journey started. A new journey developed from there on. So from there, I started learning about how to create websites, how to create apps.
Oh, yeah, I remember, yes. I saw apps, busy with the apps, busy with websites.
Yeah. Then after that, I wanted to start my own school.
Yeah.
Because once I saw what the future is going to be like, I saw that in our country, I won't say in our neighborhood, in our country, they don't put emphasis on programming. In America, you have a grade R child learning how to program.
Imagine.
They're learning the basics. Grade R, dude. Grade R, they're learning how to program. And once I saw that, I felt so bad, and I saw that, you know what, Africa, we are like 10 years or 20 years backwards. The things that are being spoke about, like the ChatGPT, the AIs, I started learning that in 2019. And there were free materials on how you can learn how to be a developer. We can create this great machines with AI. But back then, also, I never had a mentor. So I had to do research again. Man, I did a lot of research. I learned languages which today they were so complicated, so complex, to a point where, because a lot of lessons I learned were misleading, especially on YouTube.
Okay, yeah.
They were misleading, but because I had downloaded a lot of books, I saw where I needed to start in order to teach kids.
Oh, okay.
So I opened school, I would say. It was an online school.
Oh, online school.
Bornstar Academic Institute of Technology. So I wanted to teach kids how to program. So I got in touch with a school in Kempton Park. Kempton Park.
Okay.
But before Kempton Park, I went around schools around here, proposed the idea. They never went with it.
Well, to them it was like far-fetched idea.
And also they had challenges of they never had computers. They don't have internet. Yeah, but also they don't understand.
Like, you can't convince them if they don't understand.
They don't understand what's programming. How is it gonna be big? They hear that there's something called the fourth industrial revolution, but how will it change things? So once I saw that, and I saw how an AI machine, a robot, can replace a human, a lot of people are going to lose jobs. Today, when you go to KFC, you have 3 machines there that act the same way as Tellerways.
Yeah, Tellerways. Imagine.
Now, people don't see this as a risk. They're like, maybe they're just trying to manage lines. No, this is just an introduction.
Yeah.
They want to see the number of people being assisted with this machine compared to the number of people which are being assisted by people straight up.
Yeah.
And I would say, look at the car industry. Which car industry do you know people manufacturing cars by hand? One that I know right now, it's a Lamborghini, which costs millions, whereby it's handmade. They don't have machines. Yeah, they don't have like machines bringing everything together. Everything is handmade. Everything is hand assembled.
That's why it's so expensive.
That's why it's so expensive. But also, it's been done by specialists.
Oh, yeah.
So these people know a lot about cars.
Oh, yes.
So once I saw that, I needed to do something. So I had a new purpose now. And the purpose, it also goes back to Steve, because like black people, they're still going to be left behind in terms of technology, learning about technology, and enable them having skills in order to develop themselves.
It was Steve Biko.
Steve Biko, I would say, it's black consciousness.
Yeah.
On how the white supremacy overshadows black people. And how right now you're living in a black country, but then all the white minerals are owned by white people. So they block, like in black schools, they are not the same way as in white schools.
Oh, yes. A lot of,
the same opportunities you find in white schools, they're not the same you find in black schools. A lot of black schools, they have computer labs, but they don't have someone teaching them about how to use a computer, how to even create a file, how to use the internet. You learn them from a phone, it's fine. But when you go to a PC, it's a whole new story. Like when you know a PC, they just know how to play music, how to watch movies. Like that's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, this is whole new perspective and knowledge, bro. So then, hey, bro, how do you consume so much? Like, because you understand and know a lot.
Like I said, I never put pressure on myself, and having space to allow yourself to learn and to grow. Once you grow and you learn, you start to have just new ideas. You develop as a person. So you must have your own incubator that you go in order to grow, in order to evolve. And since everything that I've done, I never mimicked anyone. I never mimicked anyone saying they're going to start a programming school. Everything that I've done, it's always been original. And I think that's one of the things that makes them so unique.
It was all you.
It was all me. Even though I saw it being happening like in America, but then it's not happening here. And since it had to happen here, I'm not going to hire someone. I'm actually going to challenge myself in order to learn the skills needed in order to teach the skills, to have those skills.
Wow. Yeah, well, I really enjoy talking to you, man. Like,
I really enjoy the space, man.
I feel like I'm in school, like certain things like science, but now they make sense to me because of you explain them nicely. You simplify them. So this is very helpful. Hey, guys, we're still here. Like in Bridge TV, that's all.
Yeah, man.
Every Wednesday at 5 a.m. So, my brother, now we're reaching to our end, né?
Yeah.
So, I want to know, okay, before, I want to know cinema, the story like anytime sooner or what's happening. Do you have anything that's all?
I would say with the cinema, I can open it. The current management that's operating in Carousel, I know the guys there.
Okay, yeah.
But then, since it's not a new thing for me, it's not like something that you have in your mind and you want to manifest it into reality. It's something which it had already happened. So people know about it. So if people are really serious about bringing back the cinema, I'll say they can comment on your content, go to Bridge TV. If you guys really want Bornstar Cinema to come back again, tell me. I can make it happen. Like if there's a public outcry for it, I can bring it back. You see, because right now I have this new challenge of starting this new school with programming. I'll say my energy is going there, like that side, but I can still open this cinema. But I need to know that people actually do want it. Because sometimes when you are in an incubator in your own space,
Yeah.
you have this thing of you don't know what people really want.
Oh,
Even though I know what people need, but you don't really know what people really want.
Yeah.
So you cannot always impose yourself as knowing like coming out and say people want this, people want this. So you also have to allow people to tell you like what do they want and how do they want it. So if they do want it, I can make it happen. It won't be too much of a struggle. Yeah.
So far you have 4 people with cinema. It's Bree, it's Nesty Mufasa, Nesty is my...
Yeah, but they must comment so that you can say.
Comment.
Yeah.
Nesty, you have 4 phones. Nesty will comment with different accounts. So meaning it's Nesty with 4, plus now it's 5. Carousel has 2 accounts. So it's 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
Pamela.
Yeah.
Pamela, then they only follow 10 change. So it's
Nice.
close to 10K of people, but Bornstar cinema. It's all the Bornstar cinema. So now before we get all up, I wanted to know, okay, what are you working on now and what's happening and how can we reach you and catch you?
Right now we're gonna do a big project in Doka.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna work with Doka. I wanted to come back to the hood again because I'm already working in Campton Park with kids there.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna do something special. I won't go into too much detail with it, but there's something special that's gonna happen in Doka in terms of teaching kids how to program.
Okay, nice.
And we're gonna bring in stakeholders because you know when you have like 500 kids.
Yeah. 500 kids.
500 kids.
Yeah, okay.
I'll say to guys like 500 kids, and you walk into Unica and you tell them I need sponsorship for this 500 kids. Like the conversation becomes different. Unlike you as Bree, you need sponsorship. You have 2 people working for you. So now the purpose becomes whereby you have more people which you're gonna impact with your idea.
Yes.
So that's something that I've learned whereby it's less about me and more about the people that I'm doing it for. So with Doka, there's something special that's gonna happen there. And again, I wanna thank you for this platform. And I'm really happy to see you having this platform, man. Like you really make me proud. I'm like a proud big brother right now.
Thank you, my brother.
Yeah.
I really wanted you like on this spot, brother.
Yeah.
Honestly speaking, you motivated me, and also there are certain things that I learned from you.
I'm happy to hear that.
I cannot lie saying I didn't learn anything from you. I learned a lot from you because of the podcasting.
Yeah.
I started after your Bornstar thing, after going to museums.
Yeah.
Then I just came up with an idea. Let me continue and work on my own podcast.
Well, I'm happy that I inspired you. Yeah.
So now you want to see now, just So now we're closing. Oh, wait. I can't only Bugatti to you, Bella. The two delay is Steve Biko, Black Consciousness. Yeah. And the other one is? The
other one is losing your virginity. But with Steve Biko is I write what I like. That's the name of the.
I write what I like.
Yeah.
Okay, I write what I like.
With another one is Sir Richard Branson, losing my virginity.
Losing my virginity.
But guys, it's not about a sexual thing. It's about losing virginity of like learning about business. So when he came into business, he was a virgin.
Oh,
so losing his virginity was like him being more experienced in business.
Oh, it's more of a figure of speech.
Yeah, just a figure of speech. Yeah.
Now I catch you, man. It was a nice time with my brother right here.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Hopefully, if you need him again, because he's working on a lot of things. If you need him again, you'll comment as well on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. It's at Bridge TV, YouTube as well. Yeah. And for that cinema, hashtag Bornstar cinema, don't forget. And I will bring back the cinema and let's push new things. So for me, I'm signing out.
Cheers, guys.